6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAU, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. Apologies for the absence. I have been traveling at the moment, so I'm in a temporary location, but the streams do continue. Hope everyone is doing well, and hopefully everyone had a good week so far. What is up, ladies and gents? What's up, Tony Gold? What's up, C-Stream? What's up, Livia? Welcome to the stream. Disintegrated. Hope you're all doing good. As always, drop a like if you're enjoying the content, the streams. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. All that good stuff does really help out. So I do really appreciate it. We shall take a look at pound yen. Livia, missed you too as well. Glad to be back. Yes, we'll take a look at euro. That's one of the first markets I'll take a look at. In a short, okay, interesting. Disintegrated, what's up, my man? Yeah, dollar's been interesting. Last time we spoke was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. And I had a bullish bias on USD, but I said I don't think the market's quite ready to be getting involved with that bias yet. Looking to short euro, looking to short pound. I wasn't really liking the price action. Since then, a lot has happened. I haven't really been looking at the charts, to be honest. So I've been away. I haven't really had time to look at the charts. So pretty much today is me first looking back since Tuesday. And not much has happened. A lot of consolidation, maybe a bit of price going back and forth a little bit, but yeah, I'll take a look at the USD in detail as always. We'll start with the DXY, work our way through the USD majors, and then we'll take a look at gold and silver. Then I'll go through some other requests, yen pairs, crosses, you name it. We'll take a look as well. What's up, Roadway? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, tight range, not looking too great unless you're really intraday. I'm personally just being very patient with the USD. That's kind of my gatherings from this morning, but we'll go into a lot more detail. So let's start with the dollar itself, which, yeah, I was looking for a bullish move this week. I mean, technically we have kind of seen that, just not to the extent I was looking for. I was looking to see if price can make a move back to the swing high at 98.56 and a bit higher. I was talking about around 99 as well. And the analysis coming into the week was pretty simple. We had this continuation. I'm looking for the pullback of that for the next leg. Of course, I'm well aware that if we look to the higher time frames, the market is truly still bearish. We're still seeing lower lows and lower highs. And you can see overall, there is a downward spiral here. Yes, we're starting to fade at lows a little bit. You can see with the crosshair. So it does look like price. Let me actually darken the crosshair up because it can make it a bit more obvious. Canvas. Turn to line. There we go. So yeah, you can see the overall daily chart is down. So we have to be a bit more careful with the buying opportunities. They're still there. You still can go counter trend, but you need to be a bit more careful. But anyway, we had the pullback this week. Price was pretty steep early on, which is why I said I'm being a bit hesitant jumping in. This wasn't slow, corrective, how I typically want my pullbacks to look like. This was pretty pacey. And when the pullbacks are slightly stronger, when we're seeing a bit more effort, I tend to kind of be a bit more patient, and sometimes I just avoid them altogether, just because my best opportunities when I'm trading pullbacks is when it's slow and corrective. Fast, yeah, sure, sometimes it will work, but in my experience, it's not always the best. So that's why I was a bit more patient. And then since then, we have become quite corrective, and since then, we have had a bit of a push. What do I expect now from the dollar? Well, yeah, Disintegrated summed up quite well. We do pretty much have consolidation here, really. So we had that big bullish candle. That was Thursday. That's price attempting to try and go high, attempting to try and put a higher low in and come back to attack the highs. But that has failed. So now we're coming back into this area. Now, there could be a slight bounce on like an intraday chart, maybe like if I drop to like a 30-minute time frame. there could be a slight bounce here because we are coming back into this kind of area of demand area where we did see that momentum come from, and you can see we're tapping into it now. So I wouldn't be surprised if from here we do have a little bit move to the upside, maybe back to resistance, but I can't be confident with a move back to here. So back to 98.56. I like the price action here, very aggressive, you know, taking out all this structure to our left. And then you can see we had a really nice corrected pullback, first drop, second drop, a pattern which I love trading all the time, bull flags if you will. I would say price can recover back above this area here. So if this candle can close back above that, it'll close in about 50 minutes time. That could be a nice entry in itself, you know, tapping into this area, which is what gave us the move. And then, yeah, I do think we can see a push to resistance around there. This, though, I don't really have too much backing that scenario happening because we had an aggressive move at the start of the week. Not start of the week, sorry. Thursday, get my days mixed up. We had an aggressive move on Thursday, but that just didn't do anything really. So now you're kind of hoping to see another big move out of nowhere, which may or may not happen. That's just more like guesswork, really. A push back to resistance, sure, I can see that happening, but altogether we are just kind of in this range, and that might just eventually spill over into something like this, and maybe we just kind of slowly, you know, head bearish and see that higher time frame trend continue. So because of that, I don't really like the price action with the dollar. Yes, intraday there might be a nice bounce there, a pop there for, you know, a few hours. I think that's a nice opportunity, but really that's the best I can see. Until we can see a strong close above this, then yeah, a push back to the highs back on and maybe further. If not, I kind of expect dollar at some point just to be back and forth really. And that will of course have repercussions on other USD pairs, which we'll take a look at now. If I go take a look at Euro USD, which for the most part is again the inverse of the DXY. So pretty much all the analysis I mentioned there pretty much is the same with Euro. Internet's a little bit slow in my location, so do bear with me, ladies and gents. But yeah, this is Euro, so you can see similar kind of drop there. Of course, the other direction to what the dollar did. Dollar had a big candle trying to push high. In this case, we had a big candle trying to push lower, and it didn't really make too much of a dent beyond this support level. You can see on the 4-hour chart, we've got a collection of wicks here. So this is really the support that needs to break if euro dollar is going to make a move back down here and maybe turn bearish. Because what we have here is a pretty aggressive recovery, and then price just gone into a consolidation. So now it's kind of 50-50. Is this going to be a lower high? It could be, but this is what needs to be cleared. If that does get cleared, then you're looking really good, and you can probably see a push back down to that low. So for Euro and DXY, it's the same situation really. I'd wait for resistance to clear or support to clear. Resistance for the DXY, support for Euro, and that will give us a continuation. So if I drop to an intraday chart, I mean, for Euro, I can see a low high potential developing here for a pushback down. But yeah, it's the support that's the issue. Because if that support doesn't break, you can very much see price continue back to the highs and further. Excuse me, I do have a bit of a sore throat at the moment as well. So might be a lot of coughing during the stream, but we'll still get through the analysis. Anyway, so we do have a lot of support there, so we need to watch out for that. If price does eventually get the break, then we're looking really bearish, and I do expect price to continue lower. So what you could do is wait for a strong break of that support area. Either taking it on the break or waiting for some intraday pullbacks can make a lot of sense, and there I would expect to push back to that low. Otherwise, it's just the range really, and price could be back and forth, and until we kind of get a sustained move, I'm not too sure really what Euro is doing, which is why the thumbnail and the title read patience, because I'm not too sure. So the shorts intraday, Livia, I don't mind that, but you would have to watch out for this support level. 1.17149. Anything beyond that, yeah, you're gonna have to wait for a strong break of that support level. And of course, if you do break higher, I wouldn't be too worried about that, because this is still a very significant area. A big area of supply, of course, gave us a very aggressive move lower, price could very much tap into that and still continue to the downside. So this actually is didn't mean to do that. This is actually still a very nice place for a short. I actually like this place for a short, especially because we are in a consolidation as well. So if price can push higher, tap into that area, yeah, I think that could be a nice place for a bit more aggressive, but I think the risk reward makes sense and the location makes sense as well. So really for euro, the analysis is, okay, keep an eye on this area, keep an eye on the break of that support, not so keen trading inside of this, and then yeah, we can be talking about push back to that low again. In terms of pound USD, I am, again, you can see the same support level in pretty much all the USD pairs. They're all kind of and ahhing if they're actually going to make a move lower. What I will say is they are very tired, and it's not like we had a very sharp retracement to begin with, but it's not like that momentum is particularly continued. So as a result, I do think we're tiring. I do think most likely a low high is going to form. I do think we'll eventually will continue back to lows. That is what I'm expecting to see from the USD pairs. And a good component, or what's the right word? A good area to keep an eye on is, again, that support level. If we jump back to euro, it's going to be that support level. And of course, the dollar, it's going to be that resistance level. If that can break, then you're looking really good. But yeah, for pound USD, in terms of the bigger picture, coming into the week, I was pretty bearish, looking for a lot more downside for this one. Of course, we did come back into some major support, so I did say watch out for a pullback, but I did say as well that anywhere in this area is a good area for a pullback, a good area for a short. If price was to go and take out this high, that would be a worry. For the bears anyway, that would be a worry. As of now, that hasn't been the case. Price is still respecting that area, and I would just mention if we do break through that area, it could be a really nice short opportunity back into support. Somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern as well. I think I'm reading a bit too much into it. Left head, right shoulder. It has the components of a head and shoulder pattern, not the cleanest or the tidiest. But yeah, we haven't really seen sustained momentum here, so I do think we'll eventually spill over back into support. Dollar CAD's interesting. That one was pretty bullish. Again, I'm still not particularly keen shorting dollar CAD because I still do have somewhat of a dollar bullish bias. So I'm still not particularly keen, even though it's in a nice area. Back at major supply, we could very much turn around here and see some downside, but because I do have that kind of bullish bias on the dollar, I don't feel too comfortable about selling dollar CAD. I'd rather wait for opportunities to maybe short pound or maybe short euro or some of the other USD pairs we'll talk about in a moment. So yeah, dollar CAD, because of that situation, because of that bias I have, I'm kind of backing away. But in terms of just purely the technicals, we are in a nice area. But if you're looking to short, you have to be patient, because you can see prior to this, price would create a high, pull back, create a new high, and then have a really aggressive drop slightly after. In this case, we've taken out the high. We tried to have that aggressive drop. It didn't quite happen. And now we're looking moderately bullish. So we could still turn around, but I need to see a really aggressive bearish move, similar to the candlestick we had here, to tell us that, okay, the bears are already stepping in. Price isn't really continuing. Maybe it's kind of testing this channel trend line, so to speak, and maybe we are going to top out. Unless we see something like that, I would back away, because the momentum is with the bulls here, and this could continue and break structure, especially if USD is going to be bullish after all. So I would be quite careful because of that. But if we do see momentum come through, that is an interesting place for a short. In terms of Aussie dollar, but like I said, I'm not so keen because of my USD take. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one, again, another USD pair, which I was pretty interested in at the start of the week to short. I did say because of the way price retraced, it didn't look quite ready. And in retrospect, it did make sense because we ended up having a much deeper pullback. But I said for this one at the start of the week, as long as we don't take up this high, I'm pretty bearish for Aussie, looking for a push back into this low. And for somewhat, that is still the plan. It's just really, really awkward and not seeing a crystal clear opportunity to short this one. Similar to the other USD pairs, I would argue we are kind of stuck in a range a little bit. Maybe a convincing bearish candle through that. If we get a statement candle like this, that would make things very bearish. I wouldn't suggest that's a great opportunity in terms of the 4-hour chart, but I would definitely argue if you can drop to like a 30 or a 15, there could be some nice pullback opportunities to take some shorts. Something like this. This is a 30-minute chart, and off you go. It could be a nice pullback opportunity like that. So I would keep a close eye there for Aussie dollar. That could see, that looks like a nice entry to me, but the only reason why I would be a bit skeptical is just because we are very sideways. And you don't want to get too caught up on opportunities in isolation. You want to take everything in context. Because at the end of the day, trading, you're not trading crazy strategies or you're not Einstein here. You're just looking to find patterns that repeat themselves and trade them. But context is so important. So it's not like, okay, I just spot a double top, and because there is one, I would just look to trade it. It has to be in context, it has to make sense. So yeah, because of that, I probably wouldn't entertain that short idea. But later on, once we break support, I think that could look interesting. As for New Zealand dollar, this one, again, I still do have somewhat of a bearish bias, particularly on the weekly chart, actually, which is a bit more of a statement. And the reason why I say that is because I'm looking at these major highs, and it looks like to me that price is putting another one in over here. And I do think we could do something like that, potentially back to support. Again, more of a long-term bias. We don't need to concern ourselves with that just yet, but it's nice to know that could be the direction we're trading in. In terms of the more intra-week, intra-day price action, that's where it gets a bit tricky, because I'm looking at these lows, and every time the market creates a new low, it has a pretty big pullback. And we've seen kind of one happen now, the start of one at least. So even though I am dollar bull, well, I'm leaning towards dollar bull. I'm not necessarily dollar bullish yet, but I'm leaning towards that direction. So even though I'm leaning that way, I wouldn't be looking to short New Zealand dollar because of the location and the structure I'm seeing. Every time price creates a low, takes it out, pretty big pullback. Takes it out, pretty big pullback. Takes it out again. Could we have another big pullback? Potentially. Excuse me. So yeah, potentially price could have another big pullback. So because of that, I don't think this is a great place to short, even though you could argue that we are approaching some nice areas of supply. I just don't think it is a great place to short. So I would stay away and then look for opportunities in other USD pairs. This one, not in a great place. In terms of gold, I do think gold is, again, especially with gold and silver. I'm looking at gold. Did we take 3,900? I don't think we did. Okay, missed it by the smallest amount. So yeah, 3,900 is our next big one. Beyond that is 4K, and we're not far away from 4K at all. I thought 4K was a huge overestimation for gold back in like April, May. But we're actually not far away. We might hit that in October. So crazy stuff for gold. But yeah, still very bullish. Still very bullish. Intraday, would I be looking to buy? Would I be looking to sell? No. I'm seeing some momentum come into the market. So it's a sign that, okay, bears are kicking in. We just failed at highs over here. So I'm seeing more signs the bears are kicking in. That's putting me off buys intraday. Momentum, failed at highs. That's putting me off buys. Doesn't mean we can't go higher. Just doesn't mean it's an optimal buying opportunity. Would I look to sell? Especially, yeah, no, I still wouldn't look to sell. I'm still seeing consistent higher lows. It's a situation where you could look to sell. This could be a nice double top potentially, and the market could potentially drop from here. I could see that happening. But is it optimal? Is it the best conditions for it? I don't think it is. Going back to my previous short last week with gold Where was that? Oh, yeah, that was over here. You know, I already had a few lower highs in my favor, so it made a bit more sense for the short. Here, yes, I've got some equal highs there, but I like price to kind of continue a little bit further, and then I grab a short there somewhere. Just because we're so aggressive in the higher time frames, I like to be extra careful. But yeah, I do think we are failing at highs a little bit here. There might be a bit of a push down. I still think it's a really, really aggressive, so I wouldn't take it personally. But I do think maybe we might have a bit of a breather. Yeah, gold is still bullish. 4K is still likely to be hit, but maybe do you see a bit of a counter bearish move for now, just to have a bit of a breather. It is much needed. Silver showing signs of that happening as well. Very, very close to all-time highs and hitting that big psychological level at 50. That is still where I do see silver heading towards, but again, dropping a bit more intraday. You can see we're still having aggressive moves down. This doesn't necessarily stop silver pushing up. We can still very much push up. We're still respecting lows here, so I wouldn't really, start looking to sell just yet. But let's see if the market does break structure. Well, okay, that does open up some shorts. And if you're looking to buy, I would wait for a push back into lows again. But I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy, just because we're kind of fading at highs a little bit. Momentum is slowing. We're still seeing aggressive momentum there. So I think we can see a bounce, but again, nothing crazy. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD analysis for now. Okay, where were we? No problem. Happy to help. What's up, Raymond? Welcome to the stream. Lebsy. Let me make sure I do say hello to everyone. What's up, Yusuf? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Benzina? Goal for a possible short. Yeah, like I said, I can see the short idea. I just think it's a bit aggressive. I mean, yeah, I just think it's a bit aggressive. And again, my definition of aggressive is kind of unique to myself and how I view the market. Because I can see some signs why you look to short the failure at highs, the double top. I'm seeing some aggressive momentum with the sellers. So yeah, you can get away with it, but personally, I would like to see a bit more bearish structure come into play before I do entertain a short on gold. But again, just because I say it's aggressive doesn't mean it doesn't play out as well. It's just, the trend is still roaring, so I would still be very careful. Okay, yeah, pound yen we'll take a look at. Yusuf, yeah, a little bit under the weather, to be honest. Not even that bad. I don't know. I just got a bit more of a sore throat, which you can imagine is not particularly great when you're speaking on a live stream. But it's manageable for now. What's up, Moneybags? Pound NSD. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that one. We'll take a look at that one first. And then we'll go through pound yen, Swiss yen short for, who mentioned Swiss yen? I remember seeing it. Leslie, I'll take a look at Swiss yen as well. What's up, Pavinator? Hope you're doing good. Hit by 100 buckaroos, but got out. It went for a sharp turn, made $2 profit. Yeah, Aussie dollar's been back and forth. Every USD pair has been back and forth. There's no consistency right now of the USD pairs. Kind of very, very back and forth, slow and grindy. So, yeah, price action is not great. But I think managed well, to be honest. Of course, you would like to close it at 100, but you never know. You're never going to know the optimal until the trade is done and dusted. So, my biggest advice is if you are in good profit, that shouldn't turn into a loser necessarily. Worst case scenario is a break even. But if you've done well to get into profit, there's no necessarily need to take that into a losing position. I think that's a bit of mismanagement. Any NFP news today? Actually, let me check. I haven't actually gone through the calendar at all. It's because I haven't really been looking at the charts this week, so I haven't been staying up to date with anything. Today is just the first day I've done some actual analysis on the markets as well. Yeah, we do have NFP today. I completely forgot about that. I'm not in any position, so there's no risk on the table, and I don't know if I'll get into a trade as well. So yeah, that probably won't necessarily concern me, but it'll be interesting just in terms of making USD move, because I do think USD has been incredibly slow this week or the later stages of the week. So yeah, a bit of movement would be nice, and probably just kind of clear up direction, to be honest. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. Sore throat as well. Join the club. Join the club. Just need a dose of bullish DXY to cure. That should do the trick. I've heard good things from that. Yeah. We'll go through pound USD, then I'll take a look at pound yen. So with pound USD, not my favorite pair at the moment, to be completely honest. It has been somewhat bullish over the past kind of like 2-3 weeks, and we do have the wick high here, which looks like price is kind of just teasing at the moment. Will it take out the high? Will it not? At this moment, I'm not too sure, because all of this is still resistance. So I'm being particularly careful with the buys, especially from a swing trade. Intraday, you can be in and out. It's not too much of a big deal. You know, if you are testing a big level like this, if you're on like a 15-30 minute chart, even hourly, if you're going to hold for like a few candles, a few hours, yeah, you're not in it for the long run, so it doesn't matter. If you're looking for a swing trade, you need to be very careful where you position on the higher time frames, because you need to know if you're buying directly into resistance or not. It doesn't really matter where the trend is. Does it make sense to buy or sell? So from a swing perspective, I'll be careful from a bullish point of view. We're already seeing some signs of us struggling again over there as well, and of course originally back over there too. So from a swing perspective, do I want to follow this trend? Do I want to buy here? No, I'd rather us wait to come into this kind of area to look for a buy again. In this case, I could probably find a healthy place for a buy, and at the very least probably trade it back there. Even if price does roll against me, I can still walk away with a decent profit, maybe win for a home run. But we should at least still catch a bounce. So from a swing perspective, if that's what you're looking for, if I drop to the 4-hour chart, my focus will be more down to this area here, 2.285. Of course, as long as price doesn't take out this low. If we do take out that low, that's a red flag for the bulls there. At the moment, it's a very kind of mixed retracement. It's slow, it's corrective, which is good, but not necessarily pulling into an area of value right now. We had a very corrective move up, and now we're having a very corrective move down. So there's no kind of real change in the characteristics of price. For example, if you had a really aggressive move up like we did here, and a corrective move down, this type of price action tends to mean that price is going to continue that aggressive, the direction of the aggressive move, so the direction of the impulse. When we have a corrective move up and a corrective move down, it's kind of just 50-50 really. So I'd rather we have a much deeper pullback into this area, back into strong area of demand. And of course, this is the higher low, which gave us the move. So I do think something around here could set up for a nice buy, which of course is still probably another week or two away from actually getting there, at least a few days. So not much to speak about until we do get to this price really for pound NZD. Then in terms of intraday, intraday you might sneak a nice little short in, but really choppy conditions, I'm not going to lie, I probably wouldn't try and entertain this. Yeah, I wouldn't. It's a bit too choppy. Even the 50 minutes not looking. There's not a lot of room to play with, basically, which is what I'm trying to say. You might get away with like a short back into this area. It's been a pretty critical level on the 15. You might catch a short around there, but again, that's a trade for like a couple of hours and you're done. You're not looking for any big swing. There's no real momentum at play either. So yeah, pound NZD, not the biggest fan of it right now. The buys here could look good. Let's wait a few days to see us get there first. I think buying now will be way too early. Selling now, from a 4-hour perspective, would be a little bit too late as well. So not really any area of interest. If you go take a look at pound yen. So pound yen, pound yen's interesting. Really, really bearish this week actually. I did come into the week with a bullish bias. That pretty much changed in the first candle or second candle of the week. This candle here. So I think that was the second 4-hour candle of the week. When this one closed, that's when I kind of backed away from the bullish bias. I didn't turn bearish, I just turned kind of neutral. I'm not interested. And then price just continued falling for the whole week, and we've actually just about pinched this low here as well, which is pretty significant as well. So what do I expect now for pound yen? Well, drop into the weekly chart, because I think this is now becoming a lot more relevant, because effectively price cannot break through this high. Yeah, that's effectively what price is struggling at now. So I could see a world where this is a really, really big double top. Price is rejecting this, and we could be in for a massive sell-off. Now, this will depend on a bit of pound weakness, but mostly yen strength. Yen's got to turn around. Yen's been particularly weak. If I quickly jump to the yen basket, you can see what the yen has been doing relative to other major currencies. So this is the yen basket. It's the yen compared to Aussie, CAD, pound, euro, USD. So this will tell you what the yen is doing. And it has been on a downward spiral, which of course is what gave pound yen the push up. Basically, what we have to do is do something like this on the yen basket. If the yen basket does this, the pound yen double top move I just mentioned could happen. And we're seeing signs of that potentially happening. I mean, we had a bit of a breakout this week, haven't we? Price has kind of broken through this counter trend line here. Is this the big breakout, or is this just price messing around still? You know, I would say we have quite clear support around here. I would say resistance around there. So I would still argue price is ranging even despite that counter trend line break. I would say the more critical or the more significant break would be that level. If we do see that happen, then the sells in pound yen are a go, and we could probably see a really nice bearish trend form for this one. And we could be speaking about some shorts for the next 2-3 months, potentially back into lows here. So that could be the case for pound yen. I think, again, if you're a bit more intraday, you can still probably get away with the shorts here and there. You're not necessarily looking for a big swing just yet. So I would suggest with this one, because of course this is our high, this is our low, this is our recent lower high, and this might be the new low. So I would suggest a pullback anywhere within here is looking pretty good. So something like this, and that could be a lovely area for another short, another lower high, and a push back into the prior low, and then we go from there. If the yen is going to break out of that box I just drew on the yen basket, then we're going to see the pound yen start to really drop, and then we'll probably start to target, once the thing lows, there we go, we'll probably start to target probably each one of these lows here as we continue lower, with the ultimate target back down here. So I can see a lot of downside for pound yen. It does look like the yen pairs may be switching direction, which could be very significant. As of right now for pound yen, lovely consolidation, rip to the downside. Not the most impulsive move, but enough for me to be interested. And now this zone is now an area of supply, now an area which we can look for a retest of. So anywhere within here will be a valid place to short, an optimal place to short. We don't want to see price take out that high, because that will invalidate the bias. So that's kind of where I'm at with pound yen. Anywho, I want to take a look at our DX platform quickly. We are still onboarding people for the competition. I'll get through some more requests in a second. Just bear with me. Okay, so if you haven't checked out the platform yet, I have pinned it to the top of the chat so you can't miss it. But this is our perps platform, which we've been working on for the past few months, which allow you to trade perps, well, at the moment cryptocurrencies, but it will be FX, commodities, indices on the platform as well. If you haven't checked it out, it is linked to the top of the chat. I do have a video on the channel as well, kind of breaking it down and how to use it. To use the platform, you need a Solana or Ethereum wallet. You can use your email if you don't have either of those wallets, but I would recommend to get a Solana or Ethereum wallet to plug into the platform. You can trade it in demo environments or live environments as well. So if you just want to test out the platform, get a feel for it, you don't have to deposit. You don't have to use live currency for that. You can use demo as well. But the biggest benefit to this is that everything's decentralized. So in terms of restrictions, basically not any. And in terms of withdrawing profits, very, very quick and easy. Pretty much as soon as you close your trade, you can withdraw straight away. So time limits, waiting for payouts, not an issue here. And there are AI features which allow for analysis, provide setups as well in the 4-hour time frame, risk analysis, sentiment analysis as well, and it will give you support and resistance levels which you can actively use on the chart too. So if you haven't checked out the platform, make sure you go do so. It is a part of our Zentrix project, looking at working with AI tools to help retail traders improve their trading, and that is one of the platforms we are building at the moment. So go check it out if you're interested. Link it at the top of the chat. But yeah, I'll get through some more requests. Let me just catch up with the chat. Appreciate it, CS Integrated. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content. It does really help out. Oh, okay. NFP cancelled. Read top screen of your economic calendar. I mean, I'm using my FX book. I didn't see anything with that one. Maybe I'll use a different calendar. Let me check. Forex Factory. NFP cancelled. Don't know if I've heard of that before. What's up, open-minded coding? Welcome. Haven't spoke to you in a while. Hope you're doing good. Okay, cool. Keeping it going, nice. Keeping things simple, as you suggested. Just requested fourth payout, nice. Again, that's the best way. Keep it as long as possible. I'm not in any positions at the moment. I haven't been actively trading this week. I've been traveling this week, so yeah, I haven't been looking at the charts. So I did stream on Tuesday, and I haven't really looked at the charts till this morning. So I haven't been in any positions, haven't been trading. Hopefully everything does normalize a little bit next week, but I'm still in a temporary place. So yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I haven't been in any position at the moment. But congratulations to Open Mind Coding. That's the best. You don't want to go for the big payout. Of course, it looks nice, but at the end of the day, you'd rather have 10 small payouts rather than one big one, because yeah, if you do get the one big one, you're probably going to blow up in the next one. Then what's the point? You've got to pass another challenge before you can get funded again and withdraw any payouts. You rather just keep that account, and again, the small payouts do add up as well. The small payouts add up, so keep at it. Forex Factory stating NFP as tentative today. Okay, but gun shut down. It makes me feel quite iffy, to be honest. During the club, Lebsy. Yeah, I'm not even sure what that even means, to be honest. I can't even recall if I've experienced anything like that before. Fortune GU, yeah, we'll take a look. Yusuf, Aussie, CAD, UJ, you're on the 15. What's up, Bashi? Hope you're doing good. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you enjoy the content, drop a like, subscribe. Does really help out. Ryan, I'm doing good for the most part. Gold looks good for longs. I'm not too sure about long and gold, to be honest. I didn't pin it. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm not too sure about long and gold. I mean, I'll go through the requested pairs earlier, but I will take a look at gold. I mean, don't get me wrong, gold is still very, very bullish. So I wouldn't short gold, but I don't know if it's particularly optimal for a long, and I will show you the reasons why. Let me just pin that to the top of the chat. My mic stand's in the way, so I'm kind of just like peeking over my mic stand to see the chat. Anyway, let's go through some pairs. So we'll take a look at GU, then we'll go through Aussie CAD, UJ, Euro on the 15. If there is another request, just stick it in the chat. And if I have missed out anything, which I don't think I have, Aussie dollar, yeah, I'll take a look at Aussie as well. We'll go through that too. Okay, so we'll start with GU. So pound USD, as I've been mentioning with the USD pairs, I'm leaning towards a more of a dollar bullish bias. So I'm looking at pound USD heading lower. I'm looking at euro heading lower, so on and so forth. Except the price action isn't particularly great just yet to be shorting pound. I don't think we're looking very optimal right now. I don't think there are any really good entries for it. It depends on your time horizon, what markets, or not markets, what time frames, that's the word. What time frames you're looking at. If you're looking at like a 5 minute, you're looking to catch a small move, or if you're looking for a swing position, two different ideas really. What I can see for pound is that we've had a really aggressive sell-off on Thursday, and now price has respected support pretty well. So I do think intraday, if that is what you're looking at, I do think intraday, as we push back into this area, you might be able to catch a bit of a push down. But whether price manages to break through this, that's a whole separate question. That's because if we do break through this, then I expect us to get back to low, and then everything's looking really bearish again. And I would expect dollar to fly, pound to fall, euro to fall if we break through this. A lot of the USD pairs kind of have this support level, which they're all kind of bouncing on. And if they all do break, I do expect them all to really collapse. So that's a big area to keep an eye on. In terms of like a smaller move, a smaller opportunity, yeah, I would suggest something like this. Could be a nice short, maybe this afternoon. We'll see what happens with NFP, if that is even going ahead or not. That could be even a setup for early next week. If I drop to the 15-minute chart, yeah, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I wouldn't mind that. Another push higher, that could be a nice short there as we take out this high here, coming back into a massive area of supply, which gave us this move down. You can even probably focus it a little bit more into this area and then look for a test of that around 1.347. But really, as long as we kind of respect this area, we're looking good. So yeah, with pound USD, I would have an intraday short bias here. I do like what I'm seeing, very aggressive sell-off. Shorts around there make sense to me, but I wouldn't try and take it further than that low. I wouldn't try and push any further. We could do, but I can't be confident with the breakout. I can be fairly confident we get here. Anything further is kind of like, maybe we do, maybe we don't. So yeah, that's kind of my take for GU there, especially intraday. From a swing bias, I would like us to close below this, and then I'll start talking about a push here. If not, I could see price dancing here, maybe even pushing back to highs there. So that's really what the waiting game's about. In terms of UJ, actually I'll go for Euro since we're on a similar topic. I'll still take a look at Aussie dollar as well, and I'll take a look at Aussie CAD too. In terms of Euro, again, you can see the consolidation we've been referring to, not looking particularly great, to be honest. So again, massive wick to the downside. I bet that would have sucked in a lot of people there, because at one point this candle was trading all the way here, and I can bet a lot of people were just shorting that because, like, okay, price has been consolidating. Is price going to drop? Is price going to drop? Okay, it is dropping. Let me sell so I don't miss the move. Then it pulls back, and now you're in a bit of an awkward situation. And I know that because I've done that before. We've been there. But, I always have a wait for candles to close, because once it's closed, it gives you the information. And after seeing that close, respecting support, do I still want to short that? Absolutely not. So yeah, with now prices still respecting support, even seeing some strength off the level, the way I see Euro right now is that we are very just congested. So the two best shorting opportunities, because I still do have somewhat of a short bias for Euro. So the two best shorting opportunities I can see is if we have another push up into this area and we sell around there, or we just break support there and we actually get a nice close below. And then you can look for intraday pullbacks. You can either short on the break or look for intraday pullbacks on the way back down to this level. So that's the two opportunities I'm really looking at. I'm not so concerned about what's going on in here. I mean, I can drop to the 15 and give my thoughts. Again, we are coming back into a nice area there. where price might tap into and have another push down. I don't think it looks as good as pound. Pound was a really aggressive move, kind of away from all the noise. Here it's kind of just really congested, so I'd rather try and short pound USD than euro, even though they're probably going to both do the same thing. I just think pound looks a little bit better in terms of technicals. But yeah, for euro, that's really where I'm at. Very congested in that area. I'd rather wait for price to break higher into this zone than short, or wait for us to clear support then short. Those are the two kind of clearer opportunities I can see for euro. In terms of dollar yen, so this one, yeah, really bearish. I was actually looking for some shorts. I mean, I wasn't trading this week, so even if there was a good short, I wouldn't have been able to take advantage of it. But I streamed on Tuesday, and I believe we were trading here. So this is where I last kind of spoke and last kind of analyzed dollar yen. So I said it would be nice to see some pullbacks back here, and then some shorts back into the low here. Because my bias at the week was actually, my bias coming into the week was actually bullish, because we had the breakout of here. Price was looking very, very bullish at the time, 2 big candles there. So I was coming to the week with a very bullish bias, saying, okay, if we can pull back, find a retest somewhere, there could be some really nice buys for dollar yen. That didn't happen. It was Monday, Monday early on the week. Well, it started actually on Friday, but Monday we kept going. So because of how aggressive this was, I kind of held back a little bit. And then after seeing what happened on Tuesday, that completely scrapped that bullish bias. And then I switched to a bearish one. And I said it would be nice to get a pullback here to short it back into the low. There was a slight pullback, just not as big as I would have hoped for. But anyway, now that UJ has more or less come back into support again, this is basically the range. What would I be looking now for UJ? To be honest, not much. If this was just analysis for myself, I would skip dollar yen very quickly here, because now we're back in the range, so it's a bit boring again. The reason why I was excited about dollar yen coming to the week is because we had a breakout, and maybe that could be the start of a lot of momentum, because this is a pretty big range, to be honest. So once this does eventually commit in a direction, whether down or up, there will probably be a pretty big move to be taken advantage of. So that's why I was pretty keen on dollar yen, because if we did sustain that breakout, there would have been some nice pullback opportunities and some pretty big moves too. And I'm still expecting a pretty big move as well. It's just I have to be patient again for another breakout. If we do eventually break to the downside here, fantastic. I don't really care which way we break out. I'll be looking at shorts on the way down, probably targeting this kind of area, because this is a pretty big area of demand. Kind of gave us this move to begin with. So around 144 as well I'll be looking at. But yeah, in the meantime, we're not breaking out yet, so I'm not so keen on anything in the middle here. I mean, I'm going to scale lower to the 15. Maybe you might find a bit of a bounce here. For the most part, this is pretty slow. I'll still wait for like a second move down first. So let's say if we do push up here, I'll wait for another move down and then take the buy. Once we sweep the low, that could be a nice trade, and just take it back to resistance and call it a day. You can get away on the 15 because you're not looking for a big move. Yes, price is still in a big range, and I don't think it's optimal, but on the 15, because you're just looking for, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours worth of price action, you can be in and out and take what you need and run sort of thing. You don't have to be looking for a swing trade. So on the 15, that would make some sense. Personally, I'm not really interested. Like I said, the breakout's where my focus will be. So still being patient for that, which, I have no idea when's going to happen. In terms of Aussie CAD, so last time I spoke about Aussie CAD, I spoke about some pullbacks and some longs. I believe this was my analysis on Tuesday, actually. So I believe we were trading up here. We were trading here on Tuesday. I said we're probably likely to take out this high, but we would need a decent pullback to begin with. So I did mention some buys around here. I like that range. I had a slight pullback, but of course not enough. Looks like it didn't even make the breaking we tested that high. But yeah, we did create new highs just about, and price overall is still looking pretty bullish. So going forward with Aussie CAD, what am I looking at next? Well, I'm still pretty bullish on this one. I'm quite not annoyed, but I was hoping for a break and retest of this level for some entries. We came about 80% of the way there, and unfortunately just missed the retest. But I do think price is still likely to come back to highs up here, so that's very much my trajectory. That's very much my bias for Aussie CAD. Very bullish on this one, looking for a run back to highs. But how am I going to buy Aussie CAD now? Because we're testing resistance. Well, I'd wait for us to clear this high to show that, okay, the trend is still alive. We're still seeing a strong bullish sentiment right now for Aussie CAD. And then I'll look for the next pullback. I'm not too sure if I'll be looking for the breaking test of the high here. I mean, this consolidation could become quite important. It depends on the breakout and how aggressive it is. Or even a pullback as deep as this kind of area could look really good. I could see that happening. Another higher low like we formed over here. We could see that kind of fall. But that's really what my plan is with Aussie CAD. It's not quite developed yet, so it's not a situation where I'm like, okay, buy from here and target here, because the price action isn't quite there yet. I need price to kind of break out, show that intent, that momentum still continuing. Because at the end of the day, price could still very much respect this high and sell off, which would not be what I want to see as a buyer or a wannabe buyer. So I do want to see us commit to the upside, which I think we will. Looking at price action, looks like we are going to break to the upside. So let's see if we can break, and then that will give us the green light to look for some pullbacks, whether it's a test of this range or anywhere within this area is yet to be seen. But this is my longer term goal, long term target, which I do see Aussie CAD drifting towards. So very bullish on Aussie CAD, looking for buys, just not quite ready yet. And in terms of 15-minute chart, I can't speak too much on this because we're kind of just ranging at resistance. If I was looking to do anything on the 50-minute chart for Aussie CAD, it would be trying to see if I can pick a high. So if we can push right to the high of this, wick through that maybe, that would be where I try and position myself for a short, stops above the high, and maybe a bit of a push down. It's counter trend, not particularly optimal. Shorting at the high is a little bit aggressive, but it puts you in a really good position. If the market does fail at highs, you'll probably capitalize with a nice push down. So from a 50-minute perspective, I wouldn't really be looking to buy because we're still stuck at resistance. Maybe you might get away with a buy back here. Yeah, if we were to push down, that would actually be a nice place for a buy. It lines up really well with this support level too. And you can probably catch the next higher low to this sequence there. So yeah, that actually would look like a nice place for a buy. Yeah. This sell is still good, but really aggressive. This, less aggressive. It's still not the best place for a buy. As I said, you're still kind of dancing with fire a little bit. There is resistance here. It's taking forever to load, but there is resistance there, so we have to be a bit careful. But yeah, if you're looking for a short bias, you got a short there. Long bias, you're looking for the next higher low for push back up again. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the 15 for Aussie CAD. 4-hour chart, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, where was I? I'll go through Aussie dollar for Pavinator. Bashi GJ bearish for long, for sure long term. Yeah. It's looking like we're leaning towards that direction. Looking at how the weekly's going to close, we'll see how everything does. Kind of close by the end of the week. But yeah, it's not looking too good. I was expecting pound yen to break higher, but we're just failing our highs, and now we're seeing all the yen pairs kind of turn around a little bit. Yeah, thanks Bashi for letting me know about the pinning situation, because I thought I did. Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, that's weird. No problem. Open-minded coding. Happy to help. Lebsy, Aussie, Swiss. Yeah, we'll take a look. I'm supposed to look at Swiss yen as well. We'll take a look at that too. No problemo. I was eyeing up dollar CAD. I did get a signal this morning on the trading signals on the Zentrix for dollar CAD shorts on the 4-hour chart. I was debating it, but like I said earlier, because I still do have somewhat of a bullish bias on the USD. That's what's kept me. In terms of technicals, it's not bad. I would wait for an entry. Because the thing with the signals is it really focuses on price, which is handy because price at the end of the day is what we're trading. But I like using candlestick patterns. That's kind of how I've always traded since pretty much my first day on the chart, really. That's probably the first thing I learned, candlestick patterns. So I'm very, very comfortable and used to using candlestick patterns. So of course I want to short from good prices and buy from good prices, which is kind of where we're at right now. But I need that candlestick to kind of tell me, okay, the sellers are really backing up the chart. And that's kind of how I use the signals, to be fair, with in terms of, okay, waiting for a good price. Are we at a good price? And then let's wait for candlesticks to back it up. That way you kind of use the ideas, but at the same time use your analysis, your estimation, your knowledge as well. But yeah, dollar CAD's in a really interesting place, and the only reason why I'm not shorting, like I said, is because of my USD bias, and of course the candlesticks are not quite there yet too. I can see a world where dollar CAD does go for a bit of a sell, but yeah, unless the dollar kind of shapens up differently, I probably won't entertain it. But it's in a nice place, and let's see if we can get that candlestick confirmation. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. At the moment, the market's quite flat, really. In terms of Aussie dollar, we'll take a look at another USD pair. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's look at FXCM. So yeah, in terms of Aussie dollar, as I mentioned earlier, it's another USD pair which is in a bit of a range, stuck, not really moving too well. So I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity with this one, really, until we kind of break out that range. Same with euro, same with pound. Yeah, until we kind of break out that range, I'm not seeing much to do. Intraday, I did say I didn't mind that bearish candle here. I quite liked it. It was that 30-minute chart I was talking about. No, it's the 15. So yeah, actually I quite liked that bearish candle there for an entry. I liked how it's kind of swept the highs here. Oh, wrong tool. I liked how it kind of swept the highs here and then gave a very aggressive recovery. This is a pattern I usually look to trade, coming into a nice area of supply as well. So yeah, I don't mind that as a trade. The only reason why I wouldn't take it and why I didn't take it is because we are very flat. If I just zoom out to the 4-hour chart, I'm basically shorting inside that range. Doesn't mean the trade can't play out. It just doesn't mean it's optimal. If I could copy and paste this, but after something like that, and I take the same short over there, that'll be a much better trade, because now I've got clear momentum in my direction. We're not ranging anymore. There's more of a direction to the chart. So the probability of this trade playing out is just kind of 10x'd versus this situation where I kind of see prices still respecting support here. We've just seen a pretty aggressive bullish engulfing candle. I wouldn't be surprised if we push back to resistance, to be honest. So the entry itself and the way price is shaping up in the 15 actually looks pretty good. But when you zoom out to the bigger picture, which is just as important, the context, it's not quite adding up. So I'd rather wait for something like this to form than take the short there. Again, doesn't mean it doesn't play out. It just means, again, if I was to take 100 of those trades, it wouldn't be optimal. But yeah, with Aussie dollar, you mentioned some shorts on this one, Pavinator. I mentioned some shorts on this one and price pullback against you. I would assume it was this wick here that did the dirty work, so probably looking good in some profit, and then prices obviously reversed quite a lot since then. Yeah, again, in terms of the minute swings of the market, you can never really predict that precisely. It's difficult enough to predict from A to B, but how price gets there could be in numerous ways. Sometimes you get into trades and price just absolutely drops in your favor, and you look like a magician. Sometimes you get into a trade, it's a lot of consolidation, then it eventually does drop in your favor. Sometimes it'll go against you, almost hit your stop loss, and then drop in your favor as well. And of course, other times it might just hit your stop loss altogether. And of course, sometimes you might get a situation where you do catch a nice drop, doesn't quite hit your target. There's a pretty lengthy pullback, and then price eventually does that. Yeah, this is probably the more common situation you'll find when trading, especially FX pairs, because we do kind of swing and have deep pullbacks and sometimes chop up quite a lot. So that's where management comes into play. You know, how do you manage that? Do you just hold on to the position? Do you take partials? Do you trail? There's no necessarily right answer, but yeah, you'll find yourself in those situations. So I do still have the same bearish bias as you do. I still think price likely to eventually take out this low. I said as long as price doesn't push past here, I am bearish, and that is still the case. But as I just mentioned, I would wait for a strong break of that support level, and now I'm looking to short. Now the bearish bias is back on, and then we can take some opportunities with some more probability. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Aussie dollar. That is kind of where I'm at, looking for shorts, but I need price below 0.659. Which again is why I'm being quite patient with USD for now. Okay, so we'll take a look at Swiss yen, then we'll go through Aussie Swiss for Lebsy. No problem, Yusuf, happy to help. Cheers, Bashi, appreciate it, my man. What's up, Holy One? I hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so Swiss yen, Aussie Swiss. Saeed, update on Aussie yen. Okay, we can take a look at that as well. If I haven't missed out any other pairs, there's been a lot of chats, and I think I've probably skipped a few, but I'm sure you guys will let me know. Yeah, but we will take a look at Aussie yen, just a couple pairs to check out first, and then we'll go through it. Then we'll probably go like I want to look at some of the weekly candles, because I haven't done much analysis this week since Tuesday, so I'm kind of just looking at how we've developed since then, and I want to see how we close on the weekly chart, because that could help shape some of my bias going into next week. So I want to go through some of that, especially for the USD and especially for the yen pairs. But yeah, in terms of Swiss yen, which another yen pair, so this one sold off as well. The yen pairs have been quite aggressive, haven't they? So since 187.5, that was last week, we've been looking pretty bearish. Now, I think shorts is still your best bet. Yes, the market is, if you go in the higher time frame, yes, the market is overall a bullish market. But I do think sells for now is still your best bet, especially intraday. You're not looking for anything crazy, because again, price could still very much push into this area, you know, find a higher low, and still very much continue its path to the upside. So I can still very much see that happening. But if you're looking for an intraday short, maybe for a day, maybe two, you might be able to take advantage of what's left of this momentum, because this was a pretty aggressive drop. So I still do think there's opportunities to the downside here, and then maybe the buy step in, then maybe we do turn around. So if I do drop to maybe 15, or is that a bit too intraday? Yeah, 50 might be a bit too intraday. Let me drop to like an hourly, because I don't want it to be too intricate. Sometimes it can be a bit too intricate. Hourly chart, not too shabby. I don't mind the hourly. I quite like this area just hovering above us. The fact that we might have some early sellers getting in around there. I wouldn't mind if you could do something like this and then get that sell there. That would be a nice trade, because then you kind of got a corrective pullback altogether. So there's your impulsive leg, first correction, second correction, third, there's your entry, boom, push back to low, and you've got all this momentum in your favor as well. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing there with Swiss yen, especially on the hourly chart, hourly 30-minute maybe. I do think there's a bit more room to the downside, and this bullish move just looks like a pullback to me. So again, this consolidation, be aware, that's where a lot of buys are sitting. We did get this last big run to the upside, which created new highs. The market is bullish on numerous time frames, so we're not being too aggressive with the shorts. But yeah, there's recently a lot of bearish momentum, and there's probably a good chance we're going to spill over again. So yeah, shorts around there make a lot of sense to me for Swiss yen. In terms of Aussie CHF, been a bit boring, hasn't this one? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, to be honest, of Aussie. Let me know what you're looking at for Aussie CHF, because I'm not seeing too much in this pair. If I go to the daily chart, just to kind of zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing on the daily, price looks like it's bottoming out. So we've had this bearish move since this high. It looks like this is bottoming, you know, kind of from a bit of a bowl shape pattern. I do think eventually price is going to break to the upside and probably come back and attack the high. So that's my instinctive expectation for Aussie Swiss. Is there an opportunity to trade that yet? No. So there's not much we can do with that analysis, really. Inside here, I would stay away. A lot of noise here. What I'm seeing is a lot of wicks, not a lot of momentum. Yeah, I would avoid really trading inside of here, just because the consistency of the price action is almost non-existent, really. So if I was to take a trade, there's a very good chance I'm losing it. But if I can be patient and wait for that breakout, okay, that is something I'm really interested in, because number one, we've got a big consolidation, so the breakout should be quite big. And two, if we do break out, probably could see a trend form. The pullback opportunities would be a lot more easier to digest and actually trade. And I'll just get much cleaner and more optimal opportunities along the way. So I'd be looking for pullbacks, you know, something like this, maybe a retest of the high, and so on and so forth, all the way back to this point here. So that would be very much the plan. So yeah, Aussie CHF, I'm leaning to a bullish bias in this one. I do think we'll eventually break higher and continue, but it's still early to suggest that. I still need something like this to happen, really clear the highs. Then we can discuss pullbacks. In the moment, we're very flat. Could see price continue to do that, really. So if it was me personally looking at this chart, I would move on. I'm not looking to do anything in here. Not that you can't find a winning trade. It's just a lot more difficult and not really worth the trouble, in my opinion. Here, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I can find some opportunities there. So that's really my take on Aussie CHF. Very, very messy. But once we get the breakout, even if the breakout's to the downside as well, I mean, I do think we'll break higher, but even if we do break lower, we still have this low here to target. So if price does eventually do something like that, there will be some nice pullbacks on the way back to this low too. So despite the direction, there should be opportunities. It's just inside the range. It's too complex, too complicated for me. And again, I'm very much just optimal. We want to find a good trade, another good trade, another good trade. According to my plan, I might find a good setup, but the location and where I'm trading, the context of the market isn't good, and that just doesn't make it optimal. So that's my take on Aussie Swiss. I'll go through Aussie Yen next, and then I'll take a look at NAS for Elizabeth. Holy One, what's good? Good to hear. Just in okay New Zealand dollar buy. Okay, nice. I like the buy, to be honest, because I'm actually pretty bullish on USD. So pairs like New Zealand dollar, I don't necessarily want to buy it, but looking at the technicals, buys actually make the most sense with that pair, and I'll go through that in a second. Do you have a target for that trade, or are you just letting it run? Normally you use targets, don't you? Let me take a look at Aussie Yen. Okay, so Aussie Yen. Okay, I'm ready on the daily. So Aussie Yen's not in a bad place for a buy, actually. I'm just a little bit worried because I kind of do expect the yen to start to gain some strength. So I don't feel particularly keen on buying Aussie Yen because Aussie's going to have to be a lot stronger than the yen. Or maybe I'm just wrong with my yen bias. But actually, it's not in a bad place. The reason I say it's not in a bad place is because, number one, we've had a really corrective pullback anyway. This looks like a nice flag pattern. There's your impulse leg. There's your first correction. There's your second correction. Now expecting price to at least push the edge of the channel, back to this area. But if the trend does continue, look for a buy. It's literally the same pattern as the trade I had earlier. That was in August, late August. I took this trade over here. Same logic, same pattern. I bought there, caught this move to the upside. You could be looking at the exact same pattern playing out again for the buy here, for the continuation. So I like the setup, I like the plan, but the only difference is that when I was buying here, I was pretty had a pretty bearish bias on the yen itself. So I was expecting yen to lose strength. I wasn't necessarily bullish on Aussie, even though Aussie was actually quite strong at the time too. But I was pretty bearish on the yen. So that's why I was quite keen on the buy. Technicals look good, but also the confluences and the correlation look good too. In this situation, the technicals look good, the confluences look good, just except the correlation is a bit off. I kind of expect the yen to gain some strength now. And if you take a look at the yen basket, you know, ever since we broke through this counter trend line, I do think we're likely to at least push back to resistance here, which is 6,500. So if the yen does make that move, which I think we're likely to do, it's just going to be a bit difficult for Aussie yen to push up to. It's going to mean Aussie has to be super, super strong. I don't know if we've got any Aussie news coming out soon. Not today, but it would have to be maybe early Monday or Tuesday, something like that, to get us going. But yeah, in terms of technical, it's not a bad trade. It's not a bad trade. I like how we swept the lows, we recovered. It's not a bad trade. And your first target would be the up end of the channel there. And your stops underneath the low. Because if price was to take out that low there, yeah, it's probably not going to play out. You're probably going to get something like this. So I don't mind the bias here for Aussie yen. It's just, I wish I was a bit more keen on some yen weakness. That's my only kind of what I don't like about the trade. In terms of technicals, it actually does look pretty good. These are setups I take all the time. Literally the exact same trade there. Except this was the third push, but it's the exact same idea. So yeah, that's my only conundrum with Aussie yen. Rahana, please do not spam the chat. I will take a look. Do not spam, because I will remove you. There are other people in the chat too. I can read your first message. If I do miss it, if it's been a while and I do miss it, you can do it again, of course. But yeah, not back to back, please. No problem, Levsy. Happy to help. Okay. 1 hour high only. Hopefully before NFP. Yeah, apparently NFP is not happening today. Which, yeah, something I haven't experienced before. But yeah, apparently NFP is not happening today. Okay, let me go take a look at NAS for Elizabeth. Then I'll go take a look at the New Zealand dollar trade. Then I'll go through dollar yen. Okay, taking pound CAD as well. We'll take a look at that too. Doctor, what is up? Hope you're well. Bouncing off wild trend line. On the rate cut day. Yeah, I'm not really feeling dollar yen. I'll take a look. I mean, not get too distracted. I've got a couple markets to look at, then I'll take a look at dollar yen. No worries, Bashi. I appreciate it, my man. Yeah, guys, drop a like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Saeed, appreciate it, no problem. Okay, so let me go take a look at NAS. I haven't actually looked at any of the indices yet. Okay, so NAS, loving life, looking extremely bullish. This is just absolutely just crushing it right now. All the indices are. We had that crazy sell-off. And yeah, price has just been ripping it. Anyway, so looking very, very bullish. Now, what are you looking to do next? Well, I'll be a bit patient with the buys because you can clearly see we're running out of steam a little bit. Candle sizes are getting smaller, less momentum. So at some point, I do expect a bit of a correction. Now, I would still be extremely bullish, and my interest probably in and around here for a buy, as long as we don't take out this low. If we do take out that low, I'll still be bullish, but I'll be looking at a much deeper correction, maybe more or less kind of in here. because it's hard to tell how deep the correction will be. Sometimes it could be this big of a correction. Sometimes it might just be this of a correction. Which one we get, that's completely up to the market. Difficult to say. It's something you kind of read as price continues. As you get more information, you'll see what type of pullback the market's giving you. But if we do take out this low, of course, I'll still be bullish, but maybe we get something like this, and then we take some buys again. Or we might just see like a quick, swift dump, and the market's just booming again. So those are the two areas which I'll keep an eye on. But for now, we need a bit of a push down. Would I look for shorts? No, because we could still very much run to the upside again, and we could easily do that. So I'd be very patient with NAS, still very bullish, still seeing momentum, still seeing higher highs and higher lows. No reason to be taking shorts really just yet. Buys not in the optimal place, especially with us kind of running out of steam. So need that push down, and then we can start talking about some buys, and there's two clear-cut areas really to keep an eye on too. So NAS, just keep an eye for some pullbacks. In terms of New Zealand dollar, so I did say I'm leaning towards a bullish bias for USD. It's not quite here yet, which is why I'm not really looking for opportunities just yet. But the reason why I do like the bias in New Zealand dollar is because of how price is moving. I pointed this out earlier, but you can see every time price creates a new low, we do create the low, then we pull back, create a new low, then we pull back, create a new low, then we pull back. So I think this is just a very inconvenient time to be looking to short the market, even if you have a bearish bias, because every time we create a low, we snap to the upside. You have to really kind of show respect to what the market is doing. You can't just push your bias onto a market, even if you expect price to fall like I do. You have to be in an optimal place for the short, and an optimal place would be kind of around here, because that's kind of what the market is doing. We're seeing these highs here. That's where I'd like to take a short. Here, I'm in bullish territory. You can see just of what the market's been doing recently. So because of that, I actually think buys make a lot of sense, even despite me having the opposing bias. But that's more of a swing trade anyway. I know you're focusing a bit more on the hourly chart, holy one, so you're not necessarily looking to hold it for a week or two. But a pushback to the high looking pretty likely. It looks like we had another sell-off just to create another higher low. Nice consolidation, and price this morning is committed to the upside. So to me, it looks like we're probably just going to push back to the high there. Maybe we come back for another retest. That could happen, but you're looking pretty good there, I have to say. Momentum is slowly picking up to the buyers, and you're not asking too much from the market either. A push back to resistance makes a lot of sense. Let me see what the sentiment is saying for New Zealand dollar, because it'll be interesting because of the sell we've had. And then now let's see what the retail traders are saying. So I'm just going to use the sentiment analysis tool for NZD USD, which will show us kind of what other traders on social media and according to retail brokers, what they're saying as well. But because of the aggressive sell, I do think people would be having more of a bearish bias, but because of where we're positioned, that I'll back away. So social media is currently showing increasing bearish. So more bearish bias for New Zealand dollar according to social media. Retail position suggests heavy short position around current 0.5835. So 5835, that's basically around current price. So a lot of people are short here. And I would not want to be short there. The thing is, I have the same bias as all of them. According to that social media and what retail position is doing, I have the very similar bias to them. I expect New Zealand dollar to continue to fall as well. So even though I'm expecting the same thing, I wouldn't want to position myself there though. And that's kind of where timing comes into play. Because at the end of the day, the market's either going to go up or down. And, you're going to be right 50% of the time, you're going to be wrong 50% of the time in terms of just bias in general. But how you trade that and how you position yourself is kind of where money's made or money's lost, really. Because if you're just getting too early, getting stopped out, even if you have the right bias most of the time, doesn't matter. So you got to be patient enough to wait for the right time. And a lot of that is just positioning. Where are you taking your shorts? Here, not optimal, basically for that reason. If you push closer to this area, it doesn't mean you'll win the trade, but at least you're in a more sensible location. And if you wait for appropriate price action there, again, you're just stacking the odds in your favor. You can still lose the trade, but take 100 of them, you're in a much better situation. So yeah, a lot of retail trade positions short around here. I don't like that. Well, actually, I do like it, because if we do run higher, that will take a lot of people out of their position and probably give me an opportunity to short later on average. So yeah, that's kind of my take there. And if you want to access the platform, by the way, for Xenthrix, you do need $1 million of the token, which is about $8. So very, very cheap, but you get access to all these features to use agents, trade signals as well, which is very much where I focus on a lot. But yeah, because of everyone's short there, I'd rather wait for a short higher up, which is why I like flag patterns so much, because let's say if you've got an impulse leg and this is the flag pattern, again, it's not rocket science. This pattern's been in textbooks for decades, but I like the logic behind it, because a lot of people are trying to look for the opportunity to short the market, and a lot of people are going to take the first opportunity because you don't want to miss the move. You know, why wouldn't you take the first opportunity? It might go without you. So a lot of people are just in the market there. Whereas if you wait for the second one, it's a little bit, you get in a little bit later. You know, potentially the earlier people getting stopped out. Maybe people here a bit kind of not sure anymore. Is the market actually bearish, or is it about to flip bullish? So you get a bit of indecision there. So this is really the optimal place for a short, or even the third one. And again, you're not going to win every trade. It's not like a secret pattern, but I like the logic behind it, which is why I trade it a lot. And you see it pretty much everywhere. Okay, so dollar yen we'll take a look at next, and then we will go through. Trying to remember where I was. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mr. Stream looks like my last stream was on Tuesday, so this is my first stream back since Tuesday. Yeah, Bashi's giving us the NFP update there. I appreciate that, Bashi. Yeah, we can take a look at gold as well. Lighten, Euro Pound, no problem. Add that to the list. So I'll go through dollar yen first, because that was requested earlier. So in terms of dollar yen, yeah, I'm not really vibing with dollar yen anymore. I really like the breakout we had at the end of last week. So coming into this week, I was pretty bullish on this one. And the plan was, okay, look for a pullback, find the high low, look to buy it and take it back to the high there. Yeah, plain and simple, nothing special, but a nice opportunity nonetheless. However, coming into the week, well, Friday actually, we had the start of the pullback, which looked pretty harsh. But then Monday opened, and then we were very aggressive, and we actually started to trade back underneath that level, which was, of course, a big no-no. If you're bullish, you don't want price to be breaking back underneath, because that already screams potentially a fake out. And then we had Tuesday's price action, which gave us more downside, and that confirmed it. So actually, I was looking for a pullback to retest this for a short. I wouldn't have been able to take it anyway because I was away from the charts, but that would have been what I would have focused my attention on. Anyway, since then, the price has been pretty bearish. We're back at support again. Do I like this for buys? No, not really. This was the optimal place for a buy. The only reason why I didn't take it back then is because the risk reward was off. I mean, I probably would have still walked away with like a 1, just above a 1R really, because what I would have done was, if I did take the position, I would have entered there, stops underneath the low, probably would have secured maybe 50% there because it's a really aggressive range, so I wouldn't be so aggressive to push it to highs. But because the risk reward is quite minimal, I would have this as my second target. And because we've got that wick to the downside, taking out these lows, I could be a bit more confident that this might be the high low to get us back to the high. So I wouldn't mind looking to target this area. So what I would have done is entered here, probably closed half there, and looked to close the rest there. But of course, in hindsight, I would have taken half the profit there, and then have got trailed out back at break even probably, or I might have trailed my stops a little bit higher, but more or less break even. So it'll be a very small win, but still a W nonetheless. But yeah, the only reason I didn't take it is because the entry was way too big. So even a push back to the high there was only a 1R. Preferably, I like it to be a bit more. But yeah, now we're back there again. Do I like the buy? No. The confluence here was way better for the buy. The spike below the low was really significant, so I like that aspect of the trade here. It's just a simple test of support. Do I still have the bullish bias for dollar yen? Not really, to be honest. It's not keen. I'm not keen on the buys. I like this because we had a prolonged consolidate. Excuse me. Sore throat's coming back into play. We had a prolonged consolidation here. So price was back and forth, back and forth. Then we had this spike to the downside with that wick, which I know would have, again, caught a lot of people on the wrong side of the market. Then we had a really aggressive recovery. That's why I like this entry. That's why I like that positioning. And of course, we came back into the low of the channel, back into the trend line. Beautiful place for a bounce. So that was a nice idea in isolation. Now that we've had that bullish move, but it didn't really amount to anything and price is already back down at the same level, what it does tell me is that price is now putting in lower highs. Despite seeing bullish momentum, we still don't have quite the strength needed to attack this high again and see some new highs. So what that tells me is that this whole bullish channel is running out of steam and probably eventually getting ready for something like this, which is what I do expect for dollar yen in the medium long term, because we could actually see that happen next week really, so I wouldn't say a long term. But yeah, medium long term, I can see us rolling over. So for dollar yen, really, my bias right now is to let price do its thing and leave it alone. I'm waiting for either price to confirm to me another break to the upside, where I can look for some pullbacks and trade it back to highs, or, which is actually the opportunity I'm more favoring now, a break to the downside, break the counter trend line, break the consolidation. And I quite like the idea of shorts all the way back down to the lows here. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards now with dollar yen. It's not confirmed yet because I need the breakout to confirm that. But that's actually what I'm more leaning towards now, because it does look like yen is about to gain some strength too. And that could help us out on some dollar yen shorts. So yeah, do I like the buys there? No. There's not a lot of confidence to it. There's nothing special about the opportunity. This opportunity, there was something special about it because of the aggressive wick to the downside, the way momentum snapped into play with the buyers there. That's a really nice entry. Here, nothing special. So yeah, I'm not looking at buys with dollar yen at all. I'm waiting for us to kind of get a sustained break out of this range, preferably to the downside. I like the idea of shorts. So yeah, dollar yen just rejecting support. If you're looking for like a short-term play, I'd wait for us to approach support again. It might be again a short-term play off that, maybe for a half a day or a day. You might catch a short-term buy. Likewise with the sells, you might catch a short-term sell off the high. Nothing really significant, really. So if you're looking for short-term plays, that's how I look to play dollar yen. Long-term plays, I'm very much waiting for the breakout of this channel to the downside and then some shorts. So yeah, that is where I'm at with dollar yen for now. Ryan, we'll take a look at gold next. No problem. And then we'll go for euro pound for lighten as well. Yeah, it's pretty significant, to be honest. There's a rumor that this shutdown can last 14 days. Okay. Lasted 35 days. Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember if I've experienced anything like this before. Because I did, well, more or less, I did start trading in 2018. So I was thinking back, I was like, have I experienced something like this before? I was like, I don't think I have. That's more or less when I started trading, to be honest. So I have to go all the way back then. But yeah, appreciate that comment. Bashi explaining for us. Holy One, yes, sentiment is correct for sure. But I know how to get at least 30 pips counter trend. Yeah, okay, yeah. Using the 50, that's why I'm only... Yeah, exactly. I think that, again, that's what trading is about as well. It's not necessarily about going in the right direction. It's about taking advantage of what the market's providing you. Because, especially in the FX markets, we don't necessarily trend aggressively. It's not like the S&P or BTC when it's really trending well, or gold when that's trending well too. You know, even in counter trend opportunities, there can be some really nice trend opportunities against the trend. And yeah, you want to be able to take advantage of them and know how to play them too. So yeah, even for New Zealand dollar, I think the buys are quite smart in terms of where we're located. And you can see where the average position is for the shorts. I think that actually helps out the buys even more. Yeah, appreciate it, Bashi. Dollar Swiss, okay, we'll add that to the list as well. Yeah, it was more or less around then. I don't know, because I was 17. Yeah, more or less around then. I think I started trading just before Trump came into power, because I remember price was kind of moving crazy at the time. I was just learning the ropes. But yeah, I mean, that's why, because I was like, okay, I probably have experienced this before, but I was like, no, I don't think I have. Exactly. And just keep a lookout as well. Keep a lookout too. The only thing you can do as a retail trader is just being aware, especially if you're intraday too, because that's really what the danger is. Risk events kind of causing a lot of noise, and it could affect your trades quite in a quite negative way in terms of spread and drawdown as well. So you want to just be aware of what's going on, especially with announcements. So be careful of that. And I'm going to have to be as well when I do trade the 15. Okay, let's go through gold, and then we'll take a look at euro pound and dollar CHF. So yeah, gold. Ryan, you said you're looking for a break above 38.64. Interesting. I suppose that is, yeah, around there. Okay, let me drop to the 15. To be fair, it has been some nice resistance there. So would I be looking to try and buy gold? If it's a convincing break, yes. If I can see a break like this, with some distance between this level and where price eventually reaches, yeah, because then I'll be looking at basically a continuation of this bullish structure. And then the plan would be, okay, finding another higher low. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And then, yeah, I just expect price to get back to the highs. I just marked out 3,900 just above us. So I would expect us to eventually get there. But I'm still seeing successive higher lows. I can see prices progressing pretty well, but I'll need a convincing break. The reason why I need a convincing break is because we've had a relatively aggressive sell-off here. And just before that, we had price fail at highs too. So that's why I'm a little bit loose on my bullish bias for gold. Yes, I'm still extremely bullish higher time frames, and I expect us to eventually get to 4K. Really, so 100% still bullish. But I just don't know if the price action right now is particularly optimal. At least for how I trade anyway. So I would need to see some strength come in, because I've seen a lot of strength here, especially at failed highs too. Not great confluence. So yeah, if I can see some strength come in, great. Then yeah, pullbacks, maybe even a retest of the high could look good, and we can take that back to 38.95. Because equally, I could see price potentially forming a double top here and rolling over. So yes, I think Ryan, you're good to wait for a break of 38.64. Just make sure it's an impulsive one. It's a good breakout, not kind of like half-hearted. You're seeing a bunch of wicks, because I do think we can roll over, and this could form like a double top. This is our impulse. This could be our correction. Be wary of that. But if it's a convincing break, then it's probably not. Price is probably not going to do that. Then you're probably just looking at something like this. So that's my That's my kind of advice there for gold. And your main advantage with looking for buys is go to the daily chart. Still a very aggressive uptrend. There's no signs on the daily chart whatsoever that price is about to turn around. Yeah, sure, we're getting a couple more wicks to the upside, but that's not really significant. You're not going to expect a bullish candle every single day. There's going to be some bearish candles. There's going to be a bit of wicks here and there. Price is going to slow down a little bit. But in terms of where the momentum is, it's still with the buyers. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the intraday chart. Okay, so we'll go through Euro Pound next. Okay, so it looks like Euro Pound had a bit of a drop on Wednesday. We kind of retraced most of that. Lighton, let me know what you're looking at for Euro Pound, because I'm not seeing much, my man. And it's like every time I look at Euro Pound, I'm like, there's nothing going on. I've probably said that for about 5 times in a row now. But yeah, I'm not really keen on Euro Pound. Not really keen on the price action for Euro Pound whatsoever. I mean, I can see us coming back into this area, which of course gave us this bearish move. Possibly price could be pulling back, tapping into that another bearish move, but there's no kind of reason for that apart from we are kind of more or less approaching resistance. Maybe price is a bit more downside. Personally, if I'm going to take a short, I'd rather be right at the highs here. So if price can push through this into this area, if I can get stop above the highs there, that would be a really nice place. Not even like on a daily chart for an entry, like a 4-hour, even an hourly chart. I would like to be positioned up there because I'm right at the top. If price is going to take my stop loss, it's probably because I'm in the wrong direction, not because I'm getting kind of faked out. Although that could be the case too, but less likely. So I'd rather be positioned up there. That's like optimal. Taking shorts here, I think you're just going to have to keep it very intraday. And yeah, keep it intraday. I wouldn't mind if maybe we wick through this aggressively and then we can take a short here. I'll probably be very watchful of this trend line because if the trade is going to fail, it'll probably be a situation where I can get a nice short there. Price moves in my favor, it finds support and then goes against me. So this would be my first kind of obstacle I have to keep a close eye on. If we can break through that, then you're looking really good. Then possibly, yeah, we could see the continuation back into this low. But again, in terms of positioning, I want to be right at the high. Yeah, this is more or less your supply zone you're shorting from. Let's see if we can short right at the high of that. And this is pretty corrective too. So you're getting that hint that we've had momentum. Possibly this is the pullback for it for a continuation to the low. So I can see some logic there. But again, the best place would be up at the high here and then the short. That'd be for a much bigger trade too. But those are the two opportunities which look okay to me. I'm not the biggest fan of the price just because we're kind of in a range, but I can make some sense of that. Yeah, let me know what you're looking at Euro Pound and what your kind of thoughts on that pair is as well. We'll take a look at dollar CHF next for Antonio. Yeah, being mega patient in the market, Dev watching. Yeah, of course. Yeah, New York's going to be interesting. That's a good point as well. Still going to get volume despite NFP cancellation. I was thinking that too. I was like, are we still going to get more activity during that time? I mean, if there's no announcement, I mean, there shouldn't really be, because the reason why you do get more volume and more activity during NFP is because the numbers have been released. People are making up their minds of what they expect the dollar to do over the next few hours or few days, few weeks. So then you're getting a lot of activity because people are like, oh, okay, this happened. Dollar's going to probably do this. Let me position myself. And of course, you get other traders who do it just because other traders are buying and selling too, because they know there'll be more momentum. But of course, now there isn't going to be the release. I would expect not to see as much activity, of course. Technically, there shouldn't be a reason to, because I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really experienced it before, so it'd be interesting to see. I mean, that could be the case, but if there's no release, I don't see the reason why people jump in. But yeah, we'll see what happens this afternoon. Lighten. Okay. Okay, he's looking for a pitch tag. Yeah, so yeah, I don't mind that consolidation. It's not the worst place. Nice consolidation there. Really nice aggressive drop. We had a very slow corrected pullback. So in isolation, this is a really great setup. I'll look to trade this every day of the week. The only reason why I'm not the biggest fan is because Euro pound is just quite choppy. If this was like in a bearish trend, then yeah, that'd be a great setup. Or maybe reversing a bullish one. But just because it's flat is why I'm not the biggest fan. But it's a nice setup, and like I said, looking to short the high of the range as well, I think is a great place too. So yeah, kind of a similar take as me then. Okay, let me go through dollar CHF. So dollar CHF was actually a pair which I was talking a lot about Monday, Tuesday, about some buys. I said I quite like dollar CHF. Again, I haven't really been looking at the market since Tuesday, so if I drop to Tuesday, Tuesday's price action, yeah, more or less here. So this is what I was last looking at for dollar CHF. Okay, I remember now. Price was in that range, and I said maybe if price spikes to the low of the range, which it did, could be a nice entry there to pick up some longs, push it back to the high of the range, and maybe a breakout. That's what I was mentioning last time I spoke about dollar CHF, which, I mean, in hindsight, did give us a nice entry there, spiking the low, recovered quite well, didn't pick up back to the high of the range there, so not quite hitting the targets or the expectation. It rolled over again, took out the low again, and then had the bigger move, so that would have been a nice buy as well. Basically the same idea, taking out a low, recovery, taking out low, recovery. So same idea. But yeah, the only thing with dollar CHF is we haven't got going yet. We're still kind of failing at highs. If I just scoot that along, you can see we failed at highs there. I know we broke through slightly there too, but essentially failed at highs there too. So the biggest thing with dollar CHF, just like every other USD pair we spoke about, is this resistance. If price can break through that, then we're probably going to see dollar CHF swing back to highs and beyond. Same thing with euro dollar. Quickly just run through some of the USD pairs just to show you kind of how they're all doing literally the same thing. You got support there as well. Price has been attacking it a bunch. If we can break through that, euro will probably fall there. Same analysis really. Pound USD. Same support level over here. If price can break through that, we'll probably get the drop into the low. If you take a look at the DXY itself, USD itself, we've got clear resistance level. If you break through that, probably going to get there as well. So all the dollar pairs and Aussie dollar too, all the dollar pairs are doing the exact same thing. So if you're looking for some clean buys, I would suggest wait for evidence of price breaking through this. A nice 4-hour close above could be that. It is quite messy. There's a lot of wicks there, but we haven't sustained a strong close. So if you would wait for that, that will give you a bit more confidence that, okay, maybe this is the breakout and we could see a push back to highs. But for the most part, dollar CHF is quite flat and it's just kind of range bound here. So would I look to do anything in here? No. I don't mind. I don't mind this for dollar CHF. Another spike, then a buy. Similar to euro dollar. Euro dollar has a nice supply zone just above that range. So I wouldn't mind another spike here, then the drop. So taking out this wick high here as well. And that's why I want to position myself for the short. And if you take a look at dollar CHF, it's the same idea, just flipped. So again, there's your range. I mean, there's your demand zone. There's your push. There's your wick low. Take out that low. There's where you want to find your entries and swing it back to highs if everything goes well. That would be like a swing opportunity. I'll probably enter that. Maybe even the 4-hour chart, but at least hourly. So yeah, that's kind of what I quite like for dollar CHF from a bullish perspective. Because again, I'm still looking to see if we can find the continuation of this leg here. That's very much the plan I have with the USD pairs. That was the plan coming into the week. Still is mostly the plan for now. But it still has to be quite patient. We're seeing clear signs of failure to the upside. You know, this at one point, that candle there was looking really bullish. You know, trading at highs there. That pulled all the way back and respected resistance. That's our failed attempt to push higher. So that tells me dollar CHF probably will take a bit of a dive at some point. It probably will go for a bit of a sell, attack these lows again, and then we'll see how price develops here. Do we start to reject well? Do we start to form some wicks? Do we see some strong bullish engulfing candles? And this is where you want to position yourself for the swing, even if it's just back to some local resistance. You can still walk away for decent return. And if everything goes very well, maybe we attack the highs and maybe we go beyond that. But what this does, entries down here, it stops you getting into really poor areas here, buying and selling within there. That's not where you want to do most of your business. Sure, intraday you might catch a little swing here and there. I'm not really talking about intraday. I'm talking about more about swing. You don't want to position yourself swing from here. This is a much better price, away from the noise. You probably get your stop loss underneath that low as well, so it's very well protected. And if price were to take your stop, well, you know that, okay, the bias was wrong to begin with because we're breaking structure. Excuse me, we're breaking structure. So at that point, we're probably just going to push to the low there. So it's a very healthy place for a stop loss, healthy place for an entry, maximize your risk reward too. So yeah, I quite like that, and I'll probably keep an eye on both of those opportunities for euro and dollar CHF. This is probably an idea for next week, of course. We're not going to be there by the New York session, are we? And it's already Friday today, so yeah, that's probably an opportunity for next week. So I would keep an eye on that. But the bullish bias is still just about on, but keeping an eye on things. Pound CAD picking up nicely. Okay, we'll take a look at Pound CAD. Do you say you were buying or selling that one? I forget. I remember you mentioned it earlier, but can't remember what you said. Oh yeah, it's taken buy. Okay, so yeah, we'll go through that. BTC, yeah, I saw that as well. BTC flying. A lot of the crypto markets doing that as well. Bravo, yes, we can take a look at oil as well. Old Golden Bones, what's up, my man? From the States, hope you're doing good. Good to see you at the break of dawn. Monitoring 61.2. Okay, so I'll quickly go through Pound CAD, take a look at BTC, and then we'll take a look at oil as well. Okay, so GB CAD hourly chart. Okay, there's a lot of momentum with the buyers for now. If it can load today, that would be nice. There we go. So yeah, we are seeing some momentum overall, and I quite like what I'm seeing. I mean, we are coming back into an area which we have to be a bit careful, because if we are going to sell, it's from here. But momentum's looking good, and the reason why I like it is because we've had a really nice push. This is kind of your pullback slash consolidation. Another big push there. This is like your pullback slash consolidation as well. So I would be expecting something like this from Pound CAD, and maybe price to go and spike through this wick here as well, which more or less lines up with the high there too. So yeah, pound CAD looks pretty bullish. Of course, if you zoom out to the higher time frame too, didn't mean to do that. If you zoom out to the daily chart as well, you can see it's in a bullish market too. So you're taking advantage of what the market is doing anyway. So yeah, I quite like this idea. I like that wick too. I quite like the idea. That's what I call you, pound CAD. I like the idea. Holy one, test the consolidation. Momentum's held. Probably I'm just going to see price swing back to highs. Nice 4-hour candle close there too. So yeah, pound CAD looking pretty good to me. I like it. I like it. But yeah, I would just say keep an eye on this area, because if the trade is going to fail, it's probably from there. But if momentum can sustain through that zone, you're looking really good. In terms of BTC, that soared, didn't it? Really nice move. I was talking about some buys in my last weekly analysis from this zone actually. Just missed it. Just missed it. Had a very, very nice impulse, slight pause, another impulse there as well. I talked about some buys here. Nice place for an entry. Unfortunately, not the case. Missed it by a small amount, and now we're looking aggressively bullish. And I quite like what I'm seeing. I'm not gonna lie, I quite like what I'm seeing. Momentum's picking up, which is the biggest thing for BTC, because the last bullish move was just very slow, sluggish, which is why I wasn't really keen on push back to highs, because I just wasn't seeing the momentum to back it up. If you look at all prior bullish cycles with BTC, the time we really mean business is when we see big candles come into play. That's when momentum really steps up and when we see price attack the highs again. For the most part, this was just very sluggish. Now we're seeing that momentum creep back in. So now I think for BTC, all eyes and pullbacks, and just look to keep buying it really until we see some red flags come into play. So if I drop to a bit more of an intraday chart, quite like that pullback as well. You might just be looking to rip from there. Nice breakout there. Probably drop to the 15 to read that a little bit better. Yeah, so there's your pullback continuation. I think this still looks like a nice space for a buy. If you do get one more push down, that might be a nice place there. Slightly bigger correction. So it'll look a bit more like this. And then there's your buy. Again, very hypothetical. You might just continue from here, but that would also be a nice place for a buy too. So yeah, BTC looking bullish, and probably 123, 124, 125 even. It's probably our next big targets for BTC. And if I take a look at oil, so oil's looking interesting, really bearish. And we've just about broken through the lows. Looks like probably this is our next big target. Now, I wouldn't be selling just yet, just because we've taken out that low. When we do take out major lows, we can be a bit more prone to bigger pullbacks. So I'd be a bit more skeptical about jumping in straight away. I like price to either push a bit further, then pull back for me, or pull back straight away and I find some entries further up, close back to the highs here again. So not the best place for a short, to be honest, for me. I accidentally showed that message there. Be monitoring 61.2. Where is that? 61.2. Okay, so assume. Okay, let me drop to like a 50-minute chart, because it looks like you're looking a bit more intraday. 61.2 is around here. So you're looking for price to return here to short? Yeah, I mean, it's the same logic as I just mentioned. I'm not so particularly keen. Not that it won't play out. Again, I'm always speaking in terms of probability, not necessarily if a trade will play out now, because I don't know. If I knew which trade's going to play out, I wouldn't lose a trade. But yeah, because we're just taking out a major low, it's always just a bit more of a sensitive area, especially when it's a really significant one. We've bounced here quite a few times. So yeah, I would like price to kind of push further to really commit to the downside, because we could still very much regain that support level, and that could be a bit of a fake out there. So I want a bit more certainty with oil. But I am leaning towards a bearish bias, and I do think price now likely to push to 55, but I don't have the opportunity just yet. I don't mind the retest of this zone if that's what you're looking at. It's just I would want price to push a bit further, then pull back. But yeah, that's very much my take for oil. Anywho, we have reached the end of the stream for today. I do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, chatting with myself. Again, only 3 streams this week. I have been pretty busy. So yeah, unfortunately only 3 streams, but hopefully next week should be a more consistent schedule, same time as always, Monday to Friday. So do look forward for that. Of course, on the weekend, we'll do my analysis, recapping what's happened this week, what the plan is next week, and of course my top 3 setups. So if you're looking for good setups, good opportunities for the week ahead, keep an eye out for that weekend video, and we'll go through all of that in that video there. If you have enjoyed the stream, guys, do drop a like before you do leave. Subscribe to the channel, that does really help out as well, and of course hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or any uploads in the future. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. Again, check out the perks platform if you haven't. It's at the top of the chat. And if you do want to check out Zentrix, again, it's available to everyone. You will need 1 million of the token to access, which is about $8. So yeah, nothing crazy. It will allow you to speak with agents on different different topics, risk, sentiment, technical analysis, fundamental analysis. So a lot to play around with there. And of course, you have access to trade ideas here as well, across different markets too. So check it out. That's in the description of the video too. But thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I'll catch you all in the new week.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAU, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.